I've had people ask me, Jay, when you make these videos and it's this specific temperature, don't you sweat? And my answer, of course, is... Is there anybody else here, or is it just us? Have you guys seen any other campers? So just you and me? Okay, cool. Maybe it was the lateness of the day, maybe it was the heat, but the only traffic in the parking lot was the turkeys, and after I had found my campsite, the only other guests I could see were the wildlife. But I don't mind it. An empty park is all right by me.
Hi, I'm Jay.
And this is Choke
You get it? Because it's Choke Canyon. This is Choke Canyon State Park. I'm on the front end of a tour of the Gulf Coast region, and each of these parks is pretty distinctive in some way. Last episode, Lockhart had a golf course. Here, there's a gym smack in the middle of the park. But the main attraction, of course, is the lake. I wanted to do some looking around, but it was really clear in my mind that I had to get set up quickly and get painting before the light faded too much. On this trip, I wanted to be a little more deliberate about planning my painting before I started, so I brought along a little travel sketchbook, and it's gone with me to several places, and inevitably when I start to draw in a sketchbook, I get hung up by just flipping through the pages first. As you saw at the beginning of the video, it's kind of a blustery day, and I really enjoyed the clouds that I saw, but I know they're moving quickly. Still, I plan for a composition that has a lot of sky and really captures the clouds, but because the light is shifting quickly, I'm deciding to keep it pretty simple. There's a television show called Name That Tune, and contestants compete with each other to see how few notes they need in order to produce the name of a song. Sarah Sedgwick is an amazing artist. She talks about stroke economy. What I'm going to do today on this red primed canvas, painting in green, monochromatic, is I'm going to try to paint the scene of the lake behind me in as few strokes as possible. For this painting, I'm going to use 4 colors. I'm going to use a pre-mixed green, Viridian. I'll mix my own greens with cadmium yellow and ultramarine, and then of course white. The rule here, as advised by Sedgwick, is that if you don't lift your brush from the surface, it counts as 1 stroke. This spot right here is definitely the one that I wish I could take back, because if I had just drawn that mark a little higher, I wouldn't need to cover that red. This is kind of unfortunate. It's just a little bit separated from this, and I don't know how to count the sky, because what's happening now, the clouds aren't quite as dramatic as when I arrived, and I want to go for that dramatic cloud. That's what I did in my sketch. I think I'll count the strokes that I already did, and then I'll just finish out. Now, I don't think you'd be wrong to look at this painting and look at the landscape behind it and say they really don't have a lot in common. The color restriction changed it from looking like a golden hour painting to a bright sunny day. And the red shining behind in the sky adds a different element to it. But I would say it was really fun and kind of an interesting challenge to limit the number of brush strokes. And other than this guy right here, which I may come back and feather out a little bit, there's not a mark that I just absolutely hate, and I think that's a success. So it's a different kind of painting. It's certainly not what I would normally do, but I can't think of a better way to end my first day on the Gulf Coast trip. What do you say? Let's do the Emperor run. Choke Canyon is the 6th biggest state park in Texas, but most of it is underwater in that 75-acre lake. So the trail system isn't super extensive. I'm going to do this, and it's around a half mile. But I'm actually trying to stay up tonight. This was filmed on August 12th, and this should be the peak night of the Perseid meteor shower. So hopefully either before I fall asleep tonight or when I wake up super early tomorrow morning, we'll get to see some meteors. I don't know if you can see the bird up there. But there's a turtle here. Some night guests. Not only was there another encounter with the turkeys, but Choke Canyon, I think, has the most diverse and the most abundant wildlife that I've encountered while on a trip. Rabbits everywhere. And walking through the RV camping, just strolling along like they own the place, a squadron of javelina. I know it makes me a dork, but I was super excited that this sign showed that I might see a green jay. I've never seen one in person before. Of course, there were northern cardinals. I think they may be the most common bird. I've seen them in nearly every state park. But I also got to see a painted bunting. They're on a bunch of the park maps down here, but they're really reclusive. So that was super cool. If you are a birder, the bird blinds that many parks provide are great places to view wildlife. If you're not, they're super serene and they're great to just hang out and be calm. But finally I was able to see a green jay, although I couldn't get any decent footage of the encounter. In addition to birds, there were deer, of course. I could gush about wildlife all day, but I am on a schedule and I've got to get to the coast finally on this Gulf Coast trip. So it's time to head out and hit the road again. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next episode.